Hey everyone, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Episode I want to say like 312 or something crazy. Um, we have I'm gonna fuck this up because I always do. I am awful with names on paper. Sometimes I think I get it right. Most of the time I get it wrong. Um, but I'm hoping I'm gonna be 2 for 2 here. Yesterday I saw a name on paper and I said it right, and I was so ecstatic and happy with myself. So let's see. We we have Alaina Stacey here on the show today. Um, Elena's doing some cool shit. She's out of Philly now. Um, she's got a great voice. And like her story's a lot. Like I empathize and sympathize with a lot of her story because it's very mirror ish, right? If that makes sense. With some things I've gone through and done and stuff, and I the conversation we had was just so wonderful. It was just wonderful, and that's what I love about this show. This conversation is exactly what this show is meant to be. So I thank her for that. Um, we got a bunch of cool shit happening this week. We have a very busy week tomorrow. Um, you're going to get bombarded with New York City. I'm not going to lie to you. We will be in New York City tomorrow night for Shane Smith and the Saints and Cody Jinks. A big shout out to their team for having us out. I'm goosey. I'm goosebumps just talking about it. And then it's a quick turnaround. We're going to leave New York City Thursday morning, and we will be at Park City in Southie for Dalton and the Sheriffs Thursday night. Friday, I'm taking the day off. I'm not doing shit on Friday. I say that now. I'm sure there'll be a show that pops up, right? But right now, Friday is day off, and then Saturday it's a double whammy. We're hopefully going to get the approval for Lee Bryce at Indian Ranch Saturday morning, afternoon, and then we're back in the car and headed to Boston for Tanner Usray and Cody Jinks Saturday night at the Leader Bank Pavilion in South Boston. So busy week ahead. A lot of miles going on the Jeep this week, but that's fine. That's what we're doing. We have we have a bunch of stuff that's gonna be coming out in the next few days. The photos from Jamie Johnson from last week. We went and saw our friends at Overserved again at Tall Ships in Boston on Saturday. We got some great shots of that. Those I'm gonna be posting. Um, we're working on a new website, so if you've gone to our website, you're like, where the fuck did it go? And I think it's gone. I don't know. I got a long story, but we got to figure that out. What else? What else? What else? That's it. That's it. Next week we have our good friend Jeff Roberge is going to be on the program. Jeff's band Foxtrot Zulu is opening for his brothers band OAR at Mohegan Sun the following Sunday. So we're going to promote that show. For those of you that don't know, I still am a huge OAR fan, but OAR is a big reason why I kind of do this, to be honest with you. And I know my dad's watching this or listening to this and laughing his ass off. Um, but yeah, so um, long story short, that's what's coming up. I am going to dump, I don't want to say it this way. I'm going to release a bunch of episodes because we got a bunch of episodes lined up to record, and I just want everything current. I know I've been saying that now for 2 weeks. I'm just going to sit my ass down and do it. Maybe Friday we'll do that on our day off. Um, and that's it. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. A big thank you to everybody that has made the last few weeks not only crazy but enjoyable. And holy shit is all I'm gonna say. So tomorrow, New York City. Today, Alaina Stacey. I hope I'm saying that right. Alaina. It's not Alana, right? Alana. I don't know. Anyway, talking to myself. If I screwed it up, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Happens. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll see you on the flip side, guys. Cheers. Yeah, it's
So
it's been like this for like days, where it's like they think it's gonna do something crazy and then it doesn't. But
yeah,
right there.
we had
So
a
with my
perfect
luck,
weekend here. Like it's been so hot, and then the 4th of July and the weekend was
yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
And
it
now
was
it's
here too.
yeah,
It was
good.
here
I'm
too.
glad.
Where are you?
I'm actually in Philadelphia.
Oh, no, oh, okay. So you're not far from us.
Where are you?
I am. So I'm in Southern Mass, right on the Rhode Island
Oh,
line.
okay, very cool. Yeah, not far at
Yeah.
all then. For
No.
some reason,
So
I was
like,
thinking you were back like in Nashville or Central for some reason. So
no, no, no. I wish I was,
yeah.
but yeah, we're about an hour south of Boston and about
Okay.
20 minutes north of Providence.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
not too far from here. Everything I love the East Coast. Everything is just so
Right.
like
Right.
five
It's
five
so
hours
it's
tops and you could be
right.
anywhere.
Right. Right. And the people from the Midwest and the South, they don't get it.
It's
They
true.
don't
I'm
get it.
from the Midwest and I didn't get it until I moved here.
Okay. So what? Where are you originally from?
Originally from Chicago.
Okay.
I was born and raised there. Then I moved to Nashville at 18. I was there for about 10 years and then I moved here.
Nice. So what brought you to Philly of all places?
I know. My husband works at,
Okay.
excuse me, the Children's Hospital here.
Oh, nice.
So he moved in 2020, which was a crazy time to move here. And then,
I bet.
yeah, and then I followed in 2023 and been here a couple years, 2.5 years
Nice.
now. I love it.
Nice. So
Yeah.
how does that affect what you're doing? Does it affect what you're doing?
Um, yes and no. I'll say, on the day-to-day music stuff, it's not a huge difference, especially now with Zoom and all
Yeah.
that. I can still write with my co-writers from afar. I can make music here. I have like a tiny little setup as far as just creating demos and stuff. Um, and already I traveled quite a bit anyway, so
Yeah.
coming back and forth was not really a big deal. Frontier flies Philly to Nashville for like $40.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that's not difficult to make the trip. So in that sense, not too different. The most different thing I think is just like the networking part,
Yeah.
wanting to, if there's a event that I find out about last minute, I can't really go or something like that.
Right.
So that's hard. But other than that, it's been, I still feel like I can be plugged in back in
Yeah.
Nashville. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of the way things are, right? Where
Hmm.
even like look at this, right? Like
Hmm.
realistically, like, you're 5 hours from me and here we are, you
Right.
know?
Totally.
So it's
There are a lot of pros and cons, and this is a major pro for sure.
yeah. Yeah. So now is the way we do this show, like we 9 times out of 10 we don't talk much about music. I mean, we do, but like
Sure.
I like it's about you, like you as
Yeah.
a person, and like
Cool.
trying to kind of figure out who you are and why the music makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
I love that.
So you know growing up in Chicago, like how do you get the country music bug?
Yeah. Great question. So yeah, I like basically never even heard of country music as a kid.
Right.
And then, so my dad, I'm one of four. I have three brothers, and my dad worked a lot as a when we were kids, and so he didn't get to spend as much time with us. I mean, he was a very present dad, but just
Yeah, yeah,
practically
yeah,
he
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
around as much as my mom was.
Right, right,
And
right.
so um for as sort of like a special bonding thing with our dad, each one of us, when we turned 10, we got to go on an individual trip with him. And my oldest brother chose to go out west, because he was really into dinosaurs, so he wanted to do some digging and stuff.
Nice.
And so he kind of did this trip with my dad out to Utah and Arizona and like Four Corners area. And then my middle brother was like, okay, I'll just do the same trip. And so then when it came to be my time, I said, okay, I'll do the same trip also. So we all ended up going on the same trip, but separately. So when I was out there with my dad driving, we had a blue convertible PT Cruiser, which in my mind as a 10-year-old was like the coolest part of the whole trip.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were out there driving, and I heard, I don't remember the first song specifically, but it was either Brad Paisley's Alcohol or maybe Rascal Flatts Mayberry. It was in that like excellent time of
Yeah.
music. And I because most of the stations out there were country, and so we just started listening to the radio, and I was immediately hooked. By the time I got back, I think I came back to Chicago wearing a cowboy hat. So I
Nice.
was like, that was it for me. That was my
Yeah.
transformation. And then, yeah, that ever since when I started writing music, I was like deeply ingrained in listening to country music. And so if you listen to some of my early stuff, like 13, 14, I have this really strong country accent when I sing, which it sounds so fake, but it wasn't fake for me. It was real because that's just what came out because that's what I
Sure.
listened to. But
Now, when you did you have any musical talent or inclination before that?
yes, yes.
Okay.
My whole family is musicians. So my parents were in a band all the way through my two older brothers being born, I think. By the time I came along, they weren't doing the band anymore, but they were still very musical, singing all the time at home and at church. And my two older brothers were in a band in high school. And so it was just all around us. We had a studio in our basement. So I definitely, that was definitely part of my life.
Yeah.
And I mostly did like little musicals and stuff as a kid. But then started getting into songwriting after I discovered country music. And my dad was like, "Yes, I can teach her everything I know about songwriting." And so then that is kind of how I made that transition into more like popular music instead of
Right.
like musicals, which I still did in high school and all that.
Right. Now, did any of your other siblings continue on with the
Yes, yes.
yeah.
My middle brother, he is a producer in not Nashville, in Chicago. And he's an excellent songwriter. He's honestly, and this is just the truth. I'm not being humble. He's the true talent of the family. He is amazing. Excellent songwriter, great producer. He actually produced my band that I was in before this. He produced our full length album. So anyway, he's really good. And then my youngest brother, who didn't really catch this kind of music, I guess we're on a podcast, so the
Yeah.
vocal, the
Yeah.
performance bug in that way, he is a hip hop dancer and teacher.
Really?
So a hip hop
Really?
teacher, yeah. And my oldest brother, he doesn't do it professionally, but he and his wife write a lot of songs for their kids and for family members and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. It's so funny because like, I played drums in high school,
Oh, awesome.
but I guess I never loved it enough.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like doing this is the way I stay in music.
Totally.
You know?
Which is great. I mean, there's so many different ways to be in music, and
Right.
these kinds of things are part of the reason why the music can continue to circulate, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Right.
I love that.
I remember, my I remember, I've always, like I said, I've always been into music and my musical tastes have always changed.
Hmm.
Like
Of
growing
course.
up, country music was not a thing.
Yeah.
Like I would have rather have stuck pencils in my ears than listen to country music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's the impression I feel like of country music. If you don't know country music, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And it's really only been within the last, God, 10 years or so that I've like taken a liking to it. And it's really
Mhm.
been in the last four that it's like, it's run my everyday life.
Yeah.
Um, but like I've always had a desire to be in the industry in some way. And a lot of that stemmed from like the first concert I ever saw, and then when I was in early college, I did that jam band circuit where I was
Hmm.
that person that like went on like week long runs with a band or
I love
whatever.
it.
Well, with a band.
Yeah.
And and like it just there's something about it when you're not musically talented and you can connect that way. It's
Mm.
just so, you know, mesmerizing,
Yes,
you know?
totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the amazing thing about music in general is that like it does connect us all, whether we're the ones making the music or the ones listening to it or the ones promoting it or whatever. It's cheesy. I think I said this on another podcast, but it's the universal language, right?
Right.
And so I think that's just such a special thing about music is that it can connect us all and we can communicate in that way and we can be involved even if we don't have musical talent.
Yeah.
And that's really special.
Yeah. And like to me, like this is my way of like thanking, you
Mm,
know,
yeah.
the people that I listen to and can relate to. This is my way of like giving back. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I know
I love that.
that sounds cheesy too, right?
No,
But,
it's great. I love
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
now when you are writing tunes and stuff, like are you coming from a place where like, all right, I want it. maybe not in these words, but like you want it to sound like a certain way,
Mhm.
or you're trying to stay within a grain, or are you just kind of doing whatever the hell you want?
That's a great question. I think that has changed as I've grown older and also as an artist. I think when
Yeah.
I was young, I was really emulating the artists that I was listening to. So I was really like Miranda Lambert, and I don't know if you know Casey Chambers.
Yep.
She was like my all-time ultimate songwriting muse, and I definitely had some of that like kind of nasally country voice thing going on. Um, and I think my songwriting was really influenced by the artist that I was listening to, and I really wanted to kind of, maybe even if it wasn't conscious, but I really wanted to sound that way. Um, and now I feel like it's almost the opposite, where
Okay.
I really am hesitant to even. So this EP that I'm putting out is part of a whole project that's like the point is not putting myself into a genre, kind of.
Okay.
And so I think I actually struggle with um, how to sound, because I think, because like you said, you have so many, your musical tastes have changed and you've had so many different influences. Like me too. I think every human being from
Right.
within their whole life, they change and their music tastes change. And so I think a lot of my writing now and throughout the ages has been influenced by different stages. And so to answer your question, I I definitely don't try to sound like any specific artists. And sometimes I wish I could uh, package it
Sure.
up a little neater. Um,
Yeah.
when we are in the studio, it's always, there's always reference tracks of, oh, I like this album of this person, or these few tunes from this whatever, so that's helpful to have references. But as far as the music I'm making right now, I'm not. It's just what's coming out.
Yeah, yeah. And you saying that makes me think of this, where if you haven't noticed, I come into this fucking like I don't know, like
I
I
love
have nothing,
it.
nothing is prepped.
Yeah.
But like as a, and I hate to say it even this way, but like as a female artist, right? When you are writing and going in and crafting what your songs and whatnot,
Hmm.
are you sticking with other female artists, or does that not matter?
Like writing them, you mean?
Yeah, like are you like I mean like, style wise. Obviously male and female voices are very different.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But like are you looking at more the Mirandas of the world rather than,
Mm,
like the Luke Combses of the world? You know what I mean?
totally. Yes. I think yes. I mean, I write with a ton of different people. So I write with men and women, and
Sure.
oftentimes a man and a woman at the same time, whatever.
Yeah.
So I would say when during the creative process, I don't think about that at all. I think it's just kind of whatever comes out um, is what we do. And sometimes we'll be writing, I write with another friend, Sam Gyllenhaal, often. And depending on like what mood we're in or what ideas people have that day, we might be kind of writing more a song for me, or we might be writing more a song for him, as far as the perspective of the song and kind of the message that we're writing about. um, but other than that, I think in that moment it's just whatever's coming out is coming out. But then as far as putting it out into the world or producing it or performing it, um, honestly, no, not even then. I think a lot. I listen to a lot of different artists, and I think even the male artists that I listen to, I think I pull influences from them. That's not necessarily like the way their voice sounds,
Sure.
but it just might be the way it's produced, or the emotion that they evoke in me.
That's I was just gonna say, like it was making me think of like, we hear a lot of, right, wrong, and different, radio play is dominated by male artists, right?
Yes.
And you hear these songs from the male perspective, right? And like so my question for you is, as a female artist, you hear these songs from the male perspective on a lot of topics,
Sure.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear songs and be like, I want to, because you see it, right? I want to write that song or a song from the female perspective,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I actually think a lot of times it can be really fun. I'll cover songs by other artists, and I love to cover songs by male artists to sort of try to flip it around.
Yeah,
Um, and I also love like a songwriting assignment almost. So if someone
sure.
were to say, I love this song, but I wish I could hear one that was like this, but from the female perspective or whatever, that's when I'm like, okay, let me do this. It's like my little nerd coming out that I like
Yeah.
want the assignment so I can get a good grade. Um, so yes, totally. I think that's the cool thing again about, music, even if I'm listening to a song that's totally like a dude singing about a woman, or something that's totally gendered in that moment, like the
Yeah.
feelings are universal, and
Yeah, oh,
the message is still universal even if you flip it around most of the time.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree anymore. Uh, and it's fun. When we first started this podcast, it was very female artist heavy.
Mm,
I don't know why, it just was,
yeah.
right? And as time has gone on, it's been very male heavy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I've noticed that, you know, for whatever reason, the females we have on the show are a little more, I don't want to say reserved, but like
Mm,
careful, right?
yeah.
Which is interesting.
Sure.
The guys come on here and they'll say whatever the
Mm,
fuck they want,
yeah.
because but we're also that type of show where it's like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to censor you for whatever.
Totally. When I listened to a few episodes and I was like, "Oh, the E explicit. What's
Yeah,
this
oh
one
yeah,
going to be?"
yeah. We don't, but because it's like, it's not, you listen to shows, you listen to podcasts or whatever, and especially when it comes to music, and you see a lot of polished shit, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not that way in real life,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
and like what you
Same.
see and what you hear is what you get on all these
Mm-hmm.
episodes.
Yeah.
When I turn this camera off, I'm the same person as,
Yeah.
you know so it's, and I tell people, like, just be you, and the last few interviews I've done with female artists, like, I kind of asked them, like, what is that about? Because it wasn't like that when I started this 4 years ago.
Interesting.
And it's a very it's an interesting dynamic how it's
Yeah.
like shifted, where like the guys didn't want to come on, and
Uh-huh.
now they do, and now the girls don't want to come on, and well, not don't, but are a
Yeah.
little, when they are on, it's a little more like there's like an image they have to protect.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm not surprised to hear that. And I think I think without I'm not trying to shit talk the music industry or anything,
You
but
can, we do all the time,
okay,
but
great. No, I think being a woman in any industry, but very much in the music industry, can be really hard.
yeah,
There's so much, like I'll go to a show, not on my own. I'll just go watch a show of like some dudes or whatever, and they all look like they just rolled out of bed. They're like basically wearing
yeah,
sweatpants.
yeah,
And then the amount of effort that I put into what outfit I'm going to wear and my makeup and my hair. And when I was in a trio, the amount of thought we put into, did these match, but not too much. And then each like each photo that we posted, it's like, how do we look? I think there's so much. And then, I mean, not to get into just all of the comments that people leave,
oh
and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the things that people say about our bodies, good or bad. There's
Mhm.
so much that we have to do, and obviously I'm generalizing here, but like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much that
no,
we feel we have to do
right.
in order to be accepted, to be liked, and I think that extends to our personalities and the things we say. Like I feel like it's easier for society to like forgive a man in the music industry for doing something dumb or saying something, a little
Right.
off color or whatever. And
Right.
with women, it's like, oh yes, here's how I think about it. And it's like, so, I get that pressure to feel polished and to feel reserved and to not say something that might be taken the wrong way. Also, just in general, in life today with the internet, I think everyone, if they're not, they should be really cautious about what is get put on the internet,
Oh
because
yeah.
somebody's going to dig it up and somebody's going to put it out there,
Yeah.
so that could be part of it. But it is interesting, hearing that you're noticing a difference between the men
Yeah.
and women that you're having on the podcast. And it makes me kind of sad because, like you said, it's like what you see is what you get. You should be able to just be yourself.
Yeah.
And
Regardless of being a male or female,
yeah, exactly. Totally.
like, I remember yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
Where and like even being on like this side of the industry, right? When like things happen, like you also have to be cautious about how you report things.
Mm.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've gone to write an article about Megan Maroney and um, what's his nuts, Morgan Wallen,
Oh yeah.
right? Because like that, the writing is on the wall, like it's in
Uh,
big bold letters,
yeah.
right? And like I get to it, and like it's like really good, and it's like, but it's like, uh, somebody looks like the asshole,
Uh-huh.
and
Totally.
being from the guys for being a guy,
Yeah.
I'll be totally honest, I'm biased a little bit,
Sure.
right? She looks like the asshole,
Right.
but if I was a girl, I'm sure he would,
Yeah.
you know.
Totally.
And a
Yeah. And I
lot of
mean, I
that,
think that's, yeah.
and a lot of that has to do with life events that I've been through,
Sure.
you know.
Totally.
Uh, and that bias, I'm sure, even in writing music, is
Mhm.
tough.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it would be silly for any of us to think that we don't have bias or that we don't have preconceived notions about anything out there.
Right, right,
And so I think, yeah, like just the awareness of it is important. And then also, I think just remembering like there are two sides to every story, and there are two perspectives, and that
right.
is also what freaks me out with the internet. It's like you can, Google what is the story about this, and you can get two opposite
Yeah, yeah,
answers,
yeah.
and they both seem real and they both seem credible. It's just like, whoo, there's so much out there, and
Right.
it's hard to know what's the truth. And so, all that to be said, I don't know how we got here, but I think just
That's how
to
this
like,
podcast goes. We
yeah,
don't
right,
ever know how
exactly.
we get here. It's fine.
I love that.
You
But
know,
yeah, just to remember to like just be kind and
right.
honest when you can, as much as you can. And I don't
You know, so my next thought, it's because they're not questions, they're
know.
thoughts. Um, when you write a song, whether it's by yourself or with a group or
Mhm,
whatever, right? Regardless of the emotion, it could be sad, it could be happy, it could be, whatever. Like,
mhm.
let's say sad because I love sad country music. Like
Same.
it's the only way to be.
That's my
I don't
comfort
care.
zone.
Right, right. Now, do you ever have to like, not to get too much into your personal life, but like, do you ever have to like, you share something with your husband and be like, I'm not upset with you, or whatever, but this is
This
just a
just came
song.
out. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, totally.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I've written a ton of sad songs. That, like I said, comfort zone. That is my. I'm like, I sit down. I'm like, let me write something happy today. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But before I was married, I wrote a lot of heartbreak songs from a really true perspective,
Sure.
and I usually had no fears about just singing those songs regardless of who was going to hear them.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and it was actually part of my wedding vows that I actually haven't written any personal sad heartbreak songs since I met Rob. I've only written love songs about him, but I still do, of course, write sad songs. And honestly, usually I just will pull from like my past experiences. So I'm
Sure.
still writing breakup songs or sad songs about my shitty exes, but I'm just they're just in the
Yeah,
now, and I'm just
right.
using those, pulling those emotions. And also, a lot of times somebody will come in, if it's a co-write or something, and they'll tell their sad story, and we'll just run away with it. So it's like, I think that's the cool thing too, is, or something that somebody says will remind me of, oh my God, well, listen to this story that happened to me, or, and then you just sort of, build from there. And some of the songs I've written are like almost 100% factual, true, based on like my real emotions, my real experiences. And a lot of them are story songs, or they're like, oh, I have this little inkling of a true thing that happened, now we're going to turn it into it, embellish it into
Sure.
it. So generally, I think I'd have to ask him, but I don't think my husband has ever heard a song and been like, what did I do? Or, I think he usually knows it's not about him.
Right. It's funny again, being on this side of it, right? Like a lot of what I do, it's content driven, right?
Mhm.
And you know, anybody that's listened to this podcast knows I've had a hell of a year and a half, 2 years,
Mm,
right? And like along the way, I've gone on dates, I've met some really great people, whatever. But like the things I post, like some people take it a little too personal. And it's
sure.
like, it's not about you. Like it's almost like a like get over yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just, like I when you go through some traumatic stuff, like it you hold on to it for a while.
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
care how happy you are, right? And
Sure.
I say that in quotes, not that I'm not, but like, you know, uh,
Yeah.
you've been through shitty exes,
Yeah. Oh my
you
God.
know.
It takes, oh, how much time do we have? I could tell you some
Right.
stories. I mean, I had an ex that I was with him longer than I wasn't with him. Like,
Oh,
we met when we were 6 years old type history.
oh,
And so
that's
I
true
totally,
love.
well, yeah, I hope not. No, it is. I do still love him. Obviously not in that way, but I do
Right,
still
right,
love
right,
him,
right.
and I care for him deeply. He was at my wedding, so we made it out in a positive light. But so all that is to say, yes, we absolutely carry those things with us. It takes years
Right.
to come out as stuff like that. It can ruin other relationships. It's really, I
Yeah.
totally get that, and I totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
um, and I wanted to say, I agree. I think one of my mottos could be, "Don't take yourself too seriously."
Yeah.
Uh, I
Because
think
you're never
people
gonna get
really,
out alive.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, everybody, just
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so funny because it's like, I have, when I was going through my divorce at the beginning, right? Like I have a playlist of songs that I couldn't get through without just crying the
mm,
whole time, right? But
totally.
and like now, like around certain people, like I play those songs, and I'm like, oh, here we fucking go, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
no, like I'm good. Like I'm listening to these songs because I love these
Yeah,
songs,
totally.
you know. And it's like, and it's always funny, right, with music, right? And I'm sure you can attest to this, where and this is something I've never talked about with somebody on the podcast, so this is a first.
Okay.
Songs and music, you could hear a song or like again, even write a song about somebody, something, whatever, and
Yeah.
it means something at one moment, and
Mm.
then as things go on, it
Yeah.
means something totally different.
Yes.
Same
Absolutely.
song,
Uh-huh.
totally different emotion.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And on the flip side of that, you can have a song. There are still songs I hear that sometime when I was 16 years old, that gave me a feeling back then because of my boyfriend at the time or whatever, that I'll hear now, and I'll be surprised that it still hits me in the same way. So it's like it can go either
Yeah.
way. Music, again, it's like it can absolutely go through a change for you, and it can be one thing at a time, and another thing at a different time, or it can take you right back to where you were 20 years ago or whatever. And it
Now, is there an artist that you think about or comes to mind where, like, regardless of where you are in life, like the catalog itself brings you back to a certain time?
Yes. definitely. Probably many. I would say like, well, Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's just, I mean, if you could picture like a typical like hipstery skinny dude with the floppy hair
Oh
and
boy.
like yeah,
Oh boy.
that was my first love. And he
Yeah.
was, the thing is, he is an excellent songwriter, singer songwriter, artist, musician. I still listen to his music. My husband listens to his music. He's amazing. But when he first started, we came up on together and came out on music together, and he was like, talk about sounding like another artist. He was like a mini Ben Gibbard.
Yeah.
So I would say Death Cab for Cutie brings me back to that time and like that feeling of like when you're 16 and you think that your heartbreak is like the most giant thing that ever existed and that no one
Yeah.
has ever felt how you feel. So that would be one artist I'd say, and
Yep.
it still brings me back there.
Yeah. Like you saying that reminds me of like, like high school and stuff
Yeah.
where, I graduated in the early 2000s, and like all of that, that's what it was. That's what, it was that it was something corporate. It was,
Hmm.
like that was like the popular stuff at the time.
Hmm.
And it's like I think back, and I'm just to bring it together, but I remember being my senior year of high school, and like I got into that pop punk thing. Not a
Hmm.
ton,
Yeah.
but just enough because I was going through a pretty bad breakup with my high school sweetheart, who I was
Hmm.
supposed to marry and
Uh-huh. Of course.
live life together.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's been 20 years, and I still sometimes hear those songs, and it's like,
Hmm.
and it's like you're over that to an extent. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I might be naive and stupid, and maybe I'm just a, I don't know, hopeless romantic. But like,
Uh,
I don't think, and maybe this is just a personal experience. I don't think you ever truly get over things like that. You get
mhm.
through it, you get past it,
I think that,
but, or maybe I'm just a big wuss. I
no,
don't know.
I think that's true. If my current heartbreak songs are any indication of that, I mean, I think that's true. I still can put myself back in those moments
Yeah,
and really feel all of that, or you know listen to a song and cry still, and I'm fine. I'm
yeah, yeah.
happily married. I have a
Right,
baby
right,
now. Like,
right,
I'm good.
right.
But I do think you kind of never get over it.
Yeah,
There's like a piece inside. It's just a part of you then,
yeah,
and that's, I think it's good. I think that informs the rest of your life, and it teaches you how to grow and what not to do and what to do next.
right.
And it's, I think it's okay to still
Yeah.
be part of you.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that's why I love music so much. And
Mhm.
really my, like we were talking earlier, like the taste of music has changed so much
Yeah.
because of life things.
Yeah.
Like country music. I didn't give a shit about country music until I
Yeah.
had started having kids and had gotten married, and the
Mhm.
whole nine. Because like all of these songs in some way talk about that, and you
Yes.
can you know
Yes. I love
you
that
know
about country music
yeah.
specifically, that it tells so many stories and it's so relatable. Not to everyone obviously, but that that it's really a storytelling genre. I love that
Yeah,
about music.
yeah, it really is. And
Yeah.
like I had talked to uh Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup
Cool.
not too long ago, and like we were talking about like his punk stuff, where it's like a lot. You listen to punk music, right, and that pop punk scene, and those are country songs. Like
Mm,
a lot of them, like a lot of them tell a story, and if you slow
yeah.
them down and
Yeah.
put different instruments with them, like they're
Yeah,
great country tunes.
yeah. Well, and to circle way back, I feel like that is sort of my point about like genres being dumb anyway. It's
Yeah,
like, just it's how you dress it up, really. I mean, there is obviously some format and style to different genres and stuff like that, but you could take any song and make it a country song or vice versa. Well, not any song, but a lot of songs,
yeah,
um and I think you put a banjo on there and people are like, oh, this is country music, interesting. It's like, okay,
True.
But did Bowling for Soup do? I have to look this up before I say it because
No,
yeah,
they
they
didn't.
did. 1985.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I
They
loved
did
that
that one.
song.
They
I
didn't do
love it.
Stacy's mom because we had a whole conversation about that.
Oh, did people always think they did Stacey's mom? That's
Yeah,
Fountains of Wayne,
apparently,
right?
yeah, Fountains of Wayne. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
That's so
God,
funny.
are we a lot closer in age than I think we are? You don't have
Maybe
to like, you don't have to spill, but
I would say I bet we're within 10 years of each other. I also have older brothers, so I think a
okay,
lot of my like
okay,
cultural
that
influences
that could
are
be.
a little older than me, but
Yeah,
we're probably close. I don't
yeah.
care. I'm 30.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. We're within 10. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm 38. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. That makes sense with because like I don't have siblings, so
Yeah.
like all of my musical taste was just pretty much what my parents were playing, you
Yep.
know,
Yeah, totally.
and that's why there was no country music,
Mhm. Well,
you
same.
know.
Yeah, my parents didn't listen to country music either, so that I
Yeah,
didn't that's why I didn't know it until I went out. And it makes sense. My oldest brother is 38, I think. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
would
So
make sense.
that would make all the sense in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So now I bet you this was not the conversation you were expecting.
I love it.
um, So now, I guess we'll circle it around, right? Where for what you're doing and what you're putting out and all that stuff, like what does the rest of the year look like for you?
Yeah. So the summer is gonna be the rest of the summer is gonna be pretty fun. I'm putting out my EP later this month. Wow, really not that much later. Time really flies, man.
Yeah, it does.
Um, this month I'll be putting out my final EP in this series of three EPs I've been doing, and then so I'm doing a show in Nashville, an EP release show for that, and then I've got some shows, kind of Midwest shows in August. I'm gonna be going back to Mile of Music in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is like my favorite festival of all time. No offense to the other festivals. Um, so I'm excited about that. And and then, the rest of the year past the summer is a little unknown. I have a 5-month-old, and
Congrats.
thank you, thank you.
Are
Um,
you sleeping?
nope, I sure am
Yeah,
not.
that was
I
girl.
I was a little bit. He was doing okay, and then he hit his 4-month sleep regression, and have not. I mean, I have not slept through the night since he was born. That's for
No,
sure.
no, yeah,
So,
and you won't sleep through the night for the rest of your life.
yeah, that's what I've been hearing from people. I'm super super glad.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but anyway, all that being said, I've been playing shows with him. My mom is a saint. She comes out on the road with me so that I can bring him and still do music and everything. But I don't have as many shows planned this year as I usually do, just because I'm taking it
Yeah,
slow, getting back into it.
yeah.
So after my August shows, I think I'm gonna focus. I know I'm just releasing this EP, but I think I'm gonna focus on starting to record my next project.
Nice.
I'd love to do a full length album, and I have a ton of songs. This whole EP project has been a journey, and it's taken a long time. And so I've written quite a few songs since I started the whole process, and so I have a ton of songs I'd love to record. I'd love to do it with my brother Julian, who I mentioned is a producer. We'll see if he's got the time and if we can make it work. And he's in Chicago and I'm here, so um, but yeah, I think that's gonna be like after I'm through this release cycle and of course pushing that and promoting that. Then I think I'm gonna get started on the next thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool to see, you know, artists doing what they love to do,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how they're doing it and how they're going about it. And,
Mhm.
it's cool the way you're doing it and being able to do it.
Thank you. Yeah,
Huh?
I'm really glad to still be able to do it. Talking about gender in country music, like I really didn't want. I feel like there's sort of some not stereotypes, but judgments, or I don't know, about like, oh, she had a baby, so see ya, it's over.
Right,
And
right, right.
and who knows? Maybe that's gonna happen to me, but so far I'm really trying to avoid that, and figure out how to do it in the way that I can. And I'm very, very lucky to have the support that I have,
Right. I was
from my
just gonna
mom,
say,
and my husband's very supportive of me doing this. And so so far
yeah,
so good, and I'm just gonna keep trucking until I crash, I guess.
yeah. I mean, that's how you got to do it.
Hmm.
Like, and honestly, the support system is the biggest thing.
Yes.
And you hear everybody that's successful has a support system that, you know, if
Hmm.
they can if they buy into your dream, you're good.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
And oh my gosh, my parents, I started doing this when I was 18, so,
right?
and I didn't go to college at first. And, you know, they were I'm so grateful that they supported
Yeah,
me, because it could have been really although sometimes my dad says, maybe we should have forbade you, because then maybe you'd probably be top country by age 21, because you'd have to like fight us to get there. Like, no, I'm glad you supported me. Thanks, Dad.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I feel very grateful for the support, and the not just practically, but also just like emotionally. It's really nice
yeah.
to have people in your corner.
Now let me. Again, this might be overstepping, but I'm not a boundaries person, so I apologize in advance. But like to a point where like even my therapist is like, you should probably have some boundaries, and I'm like,
Like, what
well, for what?
for?
Why would I do? Why would I start that now? 38 years in.
Yeah.
Um, but are you able to just do music, or do you have like a
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
that's totally fine to ask. It fluct Short answer, no,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's fair.
Um, uh, Over the years, I've usually worked in the service industry and restaurants.
I thought you
Well,
said the circus industry. I was like, Jesus Christ!
I'm juggling here.
It's like, what are
That
you, a
would be
fucking clown?
awesome. Now I'm really bored with my own story, thinking of how awesome it could be. Um,
Oh my god!
wow, the circus industry. Well, now I'm going to start telling people I was in the circus industry.
You know what? I'm gonna make
Um,
that. I'm gonna clip that out and put it on TikTok and like she was in the fucking circus.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. No, service industry. I
Service,
was
yeah.
worked in restaurants for many years. But the nice thing about that being in Nashville was that um, most people were in the music industry as well, and so
Right,
a lot of jobs you can't just like take off 3 months at a time and
right.
then come back and still have your job. And especially if you're ever in Nashville, anyone who's listening, check out 5 Points Pizza. It is amazing. I worked at the East location, and which is the original. And anyway, they were super, super great about just letting me take all the time I needed. So
Yeah,
I always had another job, but I was able, when I was touring more heavily, I was able to make enough money doing that in those moments to support myself until I had to go back to the restaurant. But now I do admin work virtually, um, and I also am in school. So I yeah.
yeah. Dude, I talk about it all the time. Like I've done all kinds of shit work wise, and it's also been part of the ADHD because I can't sit still.
Oh my God. You should. I've had like 10 jobs at a time, so I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like I miss the service industry so much,
I
like
know.
on a daily basis. Like I
It
talk about it
was
all the
so
time.
fun. I mean, it was so chaotic, but it was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
but like I go into restaurants now and I'm like I see all like these kids working and I'm like I don't know if I could, like I'd be the old man where I'm like,
Mhm.
all right,
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
work my shift and I'm gonna go home, guys.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Totally. But man, I get that was, I mean, some of my fondest, most fun memories are just from like going out with friends after work, or
yeah,
even being at work, or the
yeah,
parties that one of my one of my exes in Nashville, we met at a restaurant, and his house was the place to hang all the time.
yeah.
And just the stories, and like the just the warm fuzzy feelings, all of it. It's
Yeah.
just it's also where I learned. I guess if we can talk about anything here, how many people do cocaine. I did not. I was a
Dude.
relatively sheltered child.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
not crazy, but whoo, I was like, "What? You mean we're just doing?" I mean, I never did it, but we're
right.
just out here doing cocaine everywhere. Like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a hard drug, but no.
Right. I'll never forget. And I tell this story all the time, and I've recently told it more openly to my parents.
Yeah,
But like I grew up. My parents were never shy about their extracurricular activities when they were younger, right?
sure.
And like that put the fear of God in me. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. Mm,
I never even smoked pot until like I got to college.
yeah.
Like I drank a little bit before that, but like I was always so afraid.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget. It had to have been my first year in the restaurant industry, and some friends of mine had a New Year's Eve party,
Hmm.
and come to find out, I smoked a joint with everybody that was laced with cocaine.
Oh no.
Had no fucking idea. Makes sense now because I time traveled from that party to my bed at home, but like it's those things where it's like you don't realize. I tell everybody all the time, you need to work in the service industry at least once.
I fully, wholeheartedly agree with that for
Yeah,
so many reasons. If not just because people are assholes when they go
yeah,
out to
yep,
eat. Some people are lovely, but some
yep,
people they're really just don't understand how hard it is and how much
yep.
work we do, and when there's issues it's not our fault, or even if it is, just be kind because
Oh,
people
right,
make mistakes.
right.
I just really think that people would gain a lot of understanding and empathy if they just even worked a week in a restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. And like, yeah, uh, not being a people person,
You
it,
seem like a people person.
I am. I don't feel comfortable unless I'm around people. And
Yeah, same.
it's just one of those things where, I remember, and we're going way off the rails here, but
Yeah.
I remember being in situations where like you fuck up, and like, I would see servers like hide from their tables, and I'm like, why?
Uh-huh.
Like, just own it. If you're running away, that's when they know something's wrong, and then they're gonna be
Mhm.
pissed. If you just
Yeah,
own it and be like, hey,
my bad.
right, then
Yeah.
but that's also a life thing too. I think
Yes. Yeah,
like if you
that's
fuck
very
up,
true.
just own it. You
Yeah.
know, own it,
Yeah, it's
and
a scary thing to do, but it's always worse if you don't.
yeah, yeah. And trust me, I've learned that the hard way.
Me
But
too.
anyway,
Yeah,
anyway,
totally.
yeah. So I'm excited to hear what you got coming and what you're doing.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
it's been a lot of fun shooting the shit. And anytime you want to come back and
I would
swap
love
war
to.
stories, I am here for it.
Yes. Yeah, we
You
should do
know,
a whole episode just telling our service
we
industry
should. I
stories.
would love that. That would be awesome. That would be great.
Really fun.
And like it'd probably be the most listened to episode ever because
Yeah,
everybody's been in that world.
so true.
Um, but yeah. So have you ever made your way up here for music or for any other reason?
Yes. I played. We did. Do you know So Far Sounds? The I don't know, companies. Basically, it's
Sound,
this.
sounds.
It's a I don't know what word to use other than company, but it feels weird. It's a group. Okay, I need to start over. They have shows all over the world, and the shows will be like in somebody's living room or at a museum or in a restaurant. So they'll like after hours, and so
Sure.
you have to like subscribe to it to get tickets and things, and you never know who the artist is going to be. You just sign up for the night, and then there'll be three random artists. It's really cool. It's a great opportunity for artists to just like kind of get their feet wet in touring around the country, and or other countries too. They do it all over the world. um, Anyway, I did a So Far Sounds show in Boston. Um, maybe that was just one time. I've been to Boston a bunch of times, but maybe it was just once that we played there. It was before, and I used to be in a trio called Maybe April, and I think that's maybe the only time that we did it. But yeah, it's been a while, so
Yeah. Well,
love to
I
come
mean,
back.
you have my number now, so if you ever find yourself out here, like, let me know.
I absolutely
You
will.
know, because I love meeting my guests and stuff in
Yeah,
real life because like I don't get to, a lot of the
totally.
time. You
Yeah, it's
know,
like the pro of the accessibility is the con of not getting the
right,
real face to face.
right, right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But this has been great, and I thank you for being here and taking the time
Oh my gosh.
from your son and everything else and being a mom. I'm sure it
No,
was a nice little break.
yeah, honestly. Although I'm like, I think that they're doing bath time right now, so it'll be great. I'll get
uh,
to catch them. He loves the bath.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but no, thank you so much for having. This
yeah.
has
Of
been so much
course,
fun. It's so nice to chat about. Like you said, we're probably not going to talk much about music. It's really nice to hang out and talk and
right.
not
Like
have to do the
that's
like. Well, here's the
right,
story on the
right, right. And
yeah.
like I hate that. I do. Like when I first started this, people were like, "Well, how is your podcast set up?" I'm like, "It's like Joe Rogan without, the really famous people." You know what I mean? It's because it's that kind of conversation where it's like,
Yeah,
I tell people, and I don't give a shit that you do music. That's why, of course, you do music. You're here.
yeah,
You wouldn't, but like,
totally.
not that I don't give a shit. I just,
No, I get what you mean. It's like, well, let's
you know,
talk about you.
right,
Let's,
right.
yeah, of course you do the music. That's what this is about. So now let's hear about some other stuff.
Right. Because, I've always said where, like, if somebody gets a better sense of you as a person, they'll listen to your music a lot differently.
I totally agree with that, and that's why I love at a live show when people don't just play the songs when
Yeah.
they like stop to tell a story or
Yep.
whatever. I love getting to get the flavor of the artist because it just makes it so much more interesting to listen to their music.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally agree.
Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Right
welcome.
back at you. This was really fun. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me.
Anytime. Like I said, like, you've been on the show, you're a friend. Like, don't be a stranger. Like, really.
I will. Yeah, thank
All
you
right.
so much.
You're very welcome.
Great to meet you, and
Same
I'll
here.
hopefully talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Our conversation with Alaina Stacey. Alaina? Yeah. Yeah. We're going with Alaina. So yeah, again, thank you so much for being here and following along. If it's your first time here, I mean, you saw that's what this episode, that's what the program's about. If it's not your first time here, go check us out on all of our socials, all that stuff. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for being here. We're gonna post so much fucking content over the next couple of days and week. You're gonna probably unfollow us, but please don't. Please don't. We're on a cusp. Let's just keep rocking and rolling. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Um, until next Tuesday, guys, be good to each other. We'll see you then. And yeah, guys, be good to each other, and we'll see you on down the road. Cheers.